America is gearing up for another historic election. The stakes couldn't be higher. Former President Donald Trump is back in the ring. He's facing off against Vice President Kamala Harris. The nation is on edge. Both candidates represent starkly different visions for the future. Every vote will count. The world is watching. Neck and neck. Polls paint a picture of uncertainty. The polls are telling a story of a deeply divided nation. The race between Trump and Harris is incredibly tight. It's a statistical dead heat. Recent polls show the two candidates virtually tied. The margin of error is razor thin. This makes it impossible to predict a clear frontrunner. A recent CNN poll shows Trump with a slight edge. He garners 48% support among likely voters. Harris trails closely behind with 46%. However, a separate poll conducted by the Pew Research Center tells a slightly different story. This poll puts Harris ahead by a mere 2 percentage points. The constant fluctuation reflects the volatility of the race. These conflicting poll numbers highlight the uncertainty of the election. The race could swing either way. It all depends on which candidate can successfully mobilize their base. It also depends on who can sway undecided voters in key swing states. One thing is for sure, this election will be won or lost on the margins. Swing states, where the election will be won and lost. The road to the White House runs through a handful of key states. These are the Battleground States, also known as swing states. They have a history of voting for both Democrats and Republicans. These states are up for grabs. They will likely determine the outcome of the election. Both campaigns are pouring resources into these crucial states. They include Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida, and Arizona. These states have a significant number of electoral votes. Winning these states is essential for any candidate hoping to reach the magic number of 270 electoral votes needed to secure the presidency. Trump famously flipped several of these swing states in 2016. He secured narrow victories in Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. These victories helped propel him to the White House. Harris and the Democrats are determined to win them back. They are focusing on issues like healthcare, jobs, and the economy to appeal to voters in these states. Vice President Harris is actively seeking support from across the aisle. She is reaching out to moderate Republicans and independents. Harris wants to build a broad coalition. She believes this will help her defeat Trump. She emphasizes her commitment to bipartisanship. Harris argues that she is the best candidate to unite the country. In a recent campaign speech, Harris highlighted endorsements from several prominent Republicans. This includes former Ohio Governor John Kasich. This includes former Senator Jeff Flake. These endorsements are significant. They underscore the growing unease among some Republicans with Trump's leadership. Harris hopes to capitalize on this sentiment. Meanwhile, Trump skipped a recent presidential debate hosted by CNN. He claimed the debate was rigged against him. This move drew criticism from both Democrats and some Republicans. They accused Trump of disrespecting voters. They argued that he was afraid to face tough questions. Harris used Trump's absence to paint him as out of touch and unwilling to engage in substantive debate. Trump made headlines recently with a controversial promise. He vowed to fire special counsel Jack Smith if re-elected. Smith is currently leading investigations into Trump. These investigations are looking into Trump's alleged efforts to overturn the 2020 election results. They are also investigating his handling of classified documents. Trump's pledge has raised concerns about his commitment to the rule of law. Critics argue that it is an abuse of power. They say it sets a dangerous precedent. They worry that it could undermine the independence of the Justice Department. Harris's campaign condemned Trump's statement. They called it a threat to democracy. They accused Trump of trying to obstruct justice. This issue is likely to become a major talking point in the coming months. It will be interesting to see how voters react to Trump's vow. Early voting numbers are surging across the country. This is a clear indication of the high stakes of this election. It also reflects the intense voter engagement. Millions of Americans are eager to cast their ballots. They want their voices to be heard. Long lines at polling stations have become a common sight. Both Democrats and Republicans are turning out in droves. Early voting data suggests a tight race. It is still too early to tell which candidate will benefit the most. The surge in early voting is a positive sign for democracy. It shows that Americans are engaged in the political process. It also suggests that they understand the importance of this election. The outcome will have a profound impact on the country for years to come. Make sure your voice is heard. Register to vote. Cast your ballot. The future of America is in your hands.